Hello everyone! Today we are either knitting Mushy or Boba Buddy, and we're going to let the knitting gods decide through my child. Child! Come pick which kit I'm going to knit today.
Maybe we can work on this one.
Boba Buddy. Boba Buddy it is. Good choice.
Thank you.
So here is the kit, Boba Buddy, SKU number 7. So let's open her up. Here's our instructions, and on the front of the instructions you'll see the website where you can go and watch some of their videos. They have videos showing you how to knit, and they also have videos for some of the characters, like some of the basic shapes of the characters. So here's our instructions. And there we go. That's everything we need to make this little guy right here. We will be making 3 rectangles for this piece. Then through the magic of sewing, we will put these 3 rectangles together and make Boba Buddy. Okay, so it says, make a slip knot with a 28-inch tail and cast on 22 stitches. And then it says, knit about 14 rows, making stripes with all 3 colors. You will have a rectangle that is 3 1/4 by 5 inches and cast off. Then it says, knit an even number of rows, like 2, 4, or 6, to make your colored stripes. The reason it's saying to do an even number is because we'll see as we go, but as you make different colored stripes, there's like a pretty side and a back side, and you want to make sure that all of your pretty side is on the same side. I know all this is probably sounding really confusing, but don't worry, we're going to go through each step together. If you are brand new beginner, first thing you need to know is you have a tail end, which is this end that is just a dead end. And then you have your yarn end, and that's just the side that your yarn is all situated to. You can always use this ruler that comes in your instructions. It goes all the way to 5 inches, so you can just measure out 5 inches at a time until you get the 28 inches. I do have this handy dandy fabric measuring tape, so that's what I'm going to use. I'm just going to put my tail end at the 0, and I'm going to measure out 28 inches. All right, there's 28 inches, so I'm just going to keep my finger there for a second. Now we can tie our slip knot here where we had measured out our 28 inches. I have my tail end over here, and then my yarn end is on this side. To make a slip knot, I'm going to hold my tail end in my left hand. Then I'm going to grab my yarn end and wrap around my pointer finger, creating an X. Then I'm going to pull that loop we just made around our finger out to make it bigger. Reach through the loop and grab the yarn in the back, and don't let go. Now we can pull our finger out of the loop we made, and these 2 pieces of yarn hanging down, we can pull those to tighten our slip knot. And there is a slip knot. Now I can put my knitting needle in here. You can hold these 2 pieces of yarn at the bottom to tighten it up. Here's our slip knot on our knitting needle, and we have a tail going this way that measures 28 inches long. Now we are going to cast on 22 stitches. To cast on our stitches, we are going to have our yarn end and our tail ends. That's important to know again. So you're going to be making a finger gun. Your yarn end is going to be wrapped around your thumb. Your tail end is going to be wrapped around your pointer finger. Yarn end, swoop under, wrap it around your thumb. Tail end, pick it up with our middle finger, and just put our pointer in front. Now from here, we're going to pick up the yarn on our thumb, and this piece of yarn right here on our pointer finger, we're just going to push it down. And there's a stitch casted on. So we have 1 stitch already on because it's part of our slip knot. Then we just casted on 1 more, so let's do another one. We're going to grab our yarn end with our bottom 3 fingers, swoop our thumb around, Grab our tail end with our middle finger, put our pointer in front of it, pull down, making a little kind of triangle shape. Now we're going to pick up this yarn from our thumb, up and over the yarn on our pointer, and come down. Once you get the hang of it, it might feel like kind of complicated now, but once you get the hang of it, these are so much fun because you just like fly through these. We have casted on 22 stitches, just like our direction told us, and we will move on. Okay, so this piece right here is our tail end. So we're just gonna push her down here. Forget about her, she is not a part of this. This is our yarn end. We know it's our yarn end because it's connected to all of this yarn. This is our non-working needle. It will just stay still. And we have our working needle. This one needs to be in your dominant hand. I'm right-handed, so that's where I have it. Now our working needle is naked because we are going to be moving all of these stitches from our non-working needle onto our working needle. Whichever stitch is on top, we refer to as the top stitch. We are going to slide our working needle under our top stitch. So our needles are making an X like this. Now we're going to grab our yarn and wrap it counterclockwise or left to right around our back needle, which is our working needle. It's going to go through the X we just made. Now we're going to use our working needle to push that yarn under our top stitch and to the front like this. Now we can slide everything up and off. And you can pull your yarn in and your tail in to tighten that stitch if you want. Now let's see it one more time. I have other videos on how to knit. Sometimes see and get a different way. Sometimes I explain it slightly differently because it's kind of one of those things that I feel like might be easier just to watch and learn. And so every time I have to explain how to do it, I'm like struggle with trying to find the right words to explain it. Like, am I overcomplicating it? Am I not describing it well enough? So feel free to watch those other videos if you're still having problems. You never know. I might explain it a little differently or show it a little differently and something clicks. So we're just going to keep knitting. And that is our first row knitted. Okay, so since we are making stripes, we will need to count our rows. And if you are anything like me, if your life depended on you accurately counting your rows, you would die. So you can always get yourself a stitch counter like this little thingy right here. But if you've just picked up your kit and you want to get started, you can always use our handy dandy notebook. I'm just going to write purple. Then I'm going to draw one line because I've only knitted one row. So I have gotten questions about how you start your next row. So all we do is put our non-working needle, the needle that has all of the stitches on it, into our non-dominant hand working needle, our naked needle into our dominant hand. We're going to make sure all of this that we knitted is facing in towards us. Grab our working needle and start knitting as usual. So you'll just continue knitting normally all the way down until you have all your stitches onto one needle, and you'll have one needle that is naked, and then basically you just switch hands again. And then I just knitted a second row. So as you go, you can always just give yourself a little scratch to know how many rows you have knitted. Here is our actual 4 rows of purple. Directions don't tell us when exactly to switch rows. My baby's singing. I don't have the heart to tell her to be quiet. I think it's supposed to be more like a freestyle situation, since these, I'm assuming, are supposed to be like colors mixed into a drink, like kind of like blended. So we are just going to be able to decide at our own when we are going to be switching colors to make our stripes, but we do know that we want to work in even numbers to make sure that our pretty side is all on the same side. So because I've knitted 4 rows of purple, I'm now going to switch colors. I'm going to go ahead and switch to white now. Okay, so here's what we got. Our tail end out the back and our yarn end up top coming off of our top stitch. I'm going to grab like about 2 or 3 inches from here and I'm going to cut right there. T, that's a little loud, baby. Can you do it a little quieter, please? Okay, so I've cut it. Now we have our ball of yarn solo. Toss it to the side. Now we're going to grab our white yarn. Have our white tail end and our purple end, and we're going to tie these two together. And first, I'm just going to do a regular knot, like literally over and over again. Okay, so we've tied it in a little knot. And now it's like this, and see how the white can like be slid up and down the purple. Bam. Now slide it up. Slide it closer to the purple. Almost as close as I can get it. And now I'm going to grab these 2 ends and tie them again. And that should keep it in place where it won't slide around anymore. Okay, so I've tied it a couple of times, and now when I pull, nothing's moving too much. So we can start knitting now. Make a little note of white. This is what it looks like now. We have these 2 tails up here. Don't worry about those. We are going to be working with this piece that is connected to our ball of yarn. Now we're just going to go in like normal. Get our working needle, push it under our top stitch. We're going to grab our white piece of yarn that's connected to our ball of yarn and wrap it around there and pull it underneath and keep going. So I think I'm going to continue to switch colors and leave the tails as I go, and then once I have my piece finished, I will show you what we're going to do with these tails and how we're going to make them go away. All right, so let's go ahead and switch over to green. Mergie from the future here. We have made rectangle number 1 with the stripes. We have made rectangle number 2. He was supposed to be green. He's not green. He's partially, he is a portion green. I made a pattern with which we went 4 purple, 4 white, 6 green, 4 purple, 4 white, 6 green. Now, knowing everything that I know, maybe I should have stuck with the 4, 4, 4. Maybe I would have had more green. I don't know. I'm going to present you the facts, and you have your own journey. Okay, so we've done 6 rows of green, so now I'm going to switch back to our purple color. Okay, I'm gonna write down that we've done 1 row of purple after we've started our little pattern here. That was our 4th row of white. We have 2 rows of each at this point. This is our back or our ugly side where we can see all our stitches and how they are interweaved. And then this is the front side, and it's all just nice pretty stitches. We'll go ahead and cast off. To cast off, you start out like your normal knitting. Put your needle under your top stitch, wrap it around, and you have 1 stitch over on your working needle. And go ahead and do that one more time. So now we have 2 stitches on our working needle, and we're going to stop. We're going to pick up the stitch on the bottom with our non-working needle. So we've picked it up. Now we're just going to pull it up and over the stitch that is in front of it and off of our needle, leaving 1 stitch on. Now we're going to knit another one. Now we have 2 stitches on our working needle. We're going to pick up the one at the bottom, pull it up and over, and slide it off, leaving 1 stitch on our working needle. Knit again. Pick up the bottom stitch, lift it over the top stitch, pull it off of our needle. And we just keep going. And I'll show you what we do when we get down to just 1 stitch left. Alright, so now we have 1 stitch on each needle, so we are gonna continue knitting like normal. We're gonna put our needle under there, wrap it around, pull the stitch out. Now we have 2 stitches on our working needle. We're going to pick up the one on the bottom, pick it up and over that top stitch, lift it off the needle. Now we have 1. We're going to pull our knitting needle out, making this loop big. Grab our scissors and cut. Now we're just going to push this tail part through our loop, and that will tie off our knitting. Like that. And now our piece is finished and will not come unraveled. Okay, so now we have a green tail up here from our cast off. We have a longer purple tail at the bottom. That's from when we casted on our stitches and they told us that we needed a 28-inch tail. And then we have all of these little tails coming off the side from where we switched colors in between rows. And now I'm going to show you how we get these and make them disappear. Flip our piece over. This is what the back side looks like, our ugly side. I'm going to weave all of these little tails over here into this back side so they will stay pushed back over here, and then our front piece will be nice and clean. So we're just going to grab our yarn needle that came in our kit, and we are going to weave it really any old kind of way you want to in between some yarn up here. I'm going to put the back side through first, and then I can get these tails right here and push them through our yarn needle. Okay, so I have my white in the loop from the yarn needle, and I'm just going to pull it through here. Now I'm just going to keep going and tucking my tails. You can also tuck a tail like this by pushing the tail into the yarn needle first and then using the pointing part of the needle to weave it in. I just find it more comfortable the other way, but do it however you like. So this is the back of the piece right now, and this is what the front looks like now that we have tucked all of our tails. Be sure to check out part 2 where we finish knitting our other 2 rectangles and we assemble our Boba Buddy. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that I was able to help you learn how to knit and do all the things. Bye.